A garage is so much more than a place to just store a car to stop it from getting rusty. It's a sanctuary, it's a place you can repair and tinker and relax. And in this episode of the Late Break Show, in North Wales, we've got a lovely, eclectic little gathering of vehicles, some great, some tiny, some sentimental. But above all, there's a brand new purpose-built garage that really is a wonderful place to be in, and we're going to have a look at it today. This is the little garage of Stephen and his wife, Emma Parry. And this is a Car Cave episode of the Late Break Show. I'm Jonny Smith. Steve.
Yes.
Firstly, thanks for contacting us and inviting me over to your garage because it's brilliant.
Oh, it's no problem. It's great. It's great to have you here. Yeah.
Now, it's not a massive garage. It's not like a sort of hall of cars.
No.
But what I love about it, and we'll come on to your car choices because they're really interesting. The garage itself is all new. You've really gone to town on this.
The way I wanted it was to store cars and bikes.
Yeah.
And work on them, restore them as well.
Yeah.
So it's insulated floor, walls, and roof.
Yeah.
It's ended up being like that. So
it's really well finished.
Yeah.
I've got slight jealousy, garage jealousy, and Steve's got this window which looks out across North Wales. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's very neat. You got your. I can see here Lamborghini Espada labels on bits. That's a gearbox. That's a diff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a diff, yeah.
That's an Espada diff.
Yeah.
So you've got some beautiful spares. I've got to ask about the Astra GTE seat. I immediately clocked it when we walked in. I thought, that's cool. What's the score here then, Steve?
Well, years ago, I was walking the dogs down the lane, my next village where I used to live, and someone had dumped it. Just at the street, just at the end of the lane. So I thought, oh, being the person I am, go and get the car and I'll have that. So yeah. I thought, I'd make a good seat.
Yeah. So you kept it ever since?
Yeah. So I couldn't believe someone had dumped a GTE seat.
No, it actually looks all right.
Yeah.
A couple of the usual obligatory between the leg cigarette burns.
Yeah.
It's par for the course. So in here, yeah. So you do work on your own cars.
Yes.
And I know you actually, you've done up parts of the house and the garage, so you are quite hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to be as much as I can.
Yeah. We haven't got enough time to talk in detail about your car family background, but this car, the first car we're going to talk about, the Maserati Indy, which is a proper rare groove of a car. I don't know if I've ever seen one. This car has an amazing sentimental past for you,
yeah,
and that's highlighted by there's a wall of photos just there. Tell us the backstory. So your parents were into cars.
Yeah, that's where I've got it from. My dad probably. Yeah.
And this car was your parents.
It was,
but they sold it. But you hunted it down and bought it back.
Yes, because I still had the original invoice with the chassis and engine number on. So I found it at auction. Thankfully, they'd printed the chassis and engine number down.
Yeah.
But no, my dad bought it new, August 71.
Bought it new?
Yeah. And it was tobacco brown.
Right.
Then.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't happy with the paint work because back then it was no lacquer and it was... You could see the swirls in dark colours. So he had it sprayed gold.
Did he?
Rolls-Royce gold. That's Henley's in Chester.
Wow.
So
a gold Maserati.
Yeah.
Do you remember being in this? Because you would have been a kid, of course.
Yeah, I was 6 years old. I can vaguely remember. I remember him running out of fuel in it. And he was getting very cross.
Oh, really?
Revving it up.
Oh, really?
That's... as if that's going to help.
I was going to say,
yeah.
So it's a twin tank car, this, isn't it?
It is twin tank, and it's got two fuel pumps, so you switch it inside.
Right.
So I don't think the fuel gauge tells the truth. So, no, well, definitely not now.
Yeah. So how did you find it again and buy it back?
I was scrolling through the auction, classic car auctions, and I seen that caught my eye, and because I still had the original bill of sale with the chassis engine number,
Yeah.
and they printed it in the magazine.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, it's matches.
This is it.
Yeah, this is the car.
And it
Even
was
though
in this colour.
It was in this
green,
colour, yeah.
Which is a lovely green, actually.
Yeah, it's so, you know, whoever the previous owners had this, sprayed this colour. So thankfully it's back in the family now.
Yeah. So really sentimental.
Very sentimental, yeah.
There's an article you've got of your mum being interviewed, sat in it,
Yeah,
saying,
that's right.
go pop into the shops in a 160 mile an hour car.
Yeah.
You know, this was a 160 mile an hour car.
Yeah, that's right. It was all about top speed then.
Have you done much to it?
Only free the brakes off.
Yeah, right. From lack of use.
From lack of use.
Yeah.
Free the brakes off.
Yeah.
The carburetors were in a sorry state.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't start like that. So
Okay.
put them in the sonic cleaner, strip them down.
I saw you've got a sonic cleaner.
Yeah, really good.
I'm quite jealous of that. They're brilliant.
So rebuilt the carbs back. They could do with doing again really, but I thought, well, we need to get it going.
Yeah.
So new battery, and that's it basically.
Wow. So
Nothing else.
it's on the road. It's usable.
It's on the road. It hasn't done a great deal.
Yeah.
I went out in it last night just to check it over.
Because
But it could do with
to drive it. Because I am going to go out and drive it in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the 4-seat brother of the Ghibli, basically.
There's only, I think, if you track it down, there's only 5 right-hand drive manuals.
Really?
This is a right-hand drive manual, so it's quite
properly
rare. And I think they made something like 1,100 in total.
Yeah.
But a
No,
lot-
so they didn't make many in total anyway.
No.
A bit like these,
Yeah.
which we must come on and talk about now. I don't know what it is with me and Espadas. They follow me around, and that's a good thing because I really like them. And if you haven't ever seen the Barn Find Espada video that I did, I'll put a link for it above. But another Espada.
Yeah.
And when you sent me the email saying, what do you think of my garage? Do you fancy coming over? I saw that and I saw this together and I thought, what an amazing pair of cars. Really similar kind of shapes. It was that era of kind of almost jet plane, flat nose. What's the story with the Espada, Steve?
Well, my father, after he sold the Maserati,
Yeah.
he bought an Espada, which had the biggest impact on me because I was getting now a teenager.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted one,
Yeah.
and I tried to buy it back, but it just didn't happen.
Okay. So it does still exist, your dad's one?
It still exists. It's still taxed, but don't know its location at the moment.
Yeah. So you remember it vividly?
Yeah. I mean, we used to. I used to go with him quite often. My mother would never go with him in this car
Oh, really?
because he used to drive it hard.
Like a, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah,
And your
really
mum,
hard,
Your
yeah.
mum wouldn't, because
Yeah.
your mum enjoyed these sorts of cars too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. She enjoyed that more because it's a bit gentler to drive than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but at the time, you know, these were the fastest.
This was his
4-seater.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it
When it
held that
came
record
out.
for quite a long time.
Yeah.
100 and I'm trying to remember how many miles an hour it was now.
155.
I mean, and it really is a 4-seater.
Yeah.
And it's still the lowest 4-seat car in ever. I think it still holds the record for that. It's like 1.1
Yeah,
metres.
you can't tell because it's on a ramp.
It's
isn't
on a
it, at the
ramp here,
moment,
which is
so-
deceiving. It's so
Yeah.
low that these are so low. I've got to say, Steve, I'm going to just do this on camera because
Yeah.
it's just, I mean,
You never see a car phone like
it's
that.
got a bloody telephone here, an actual Bakelite on the dash telephone. So whoever, it's just so, what's the backstory, Steve?
Well, it was in it when I bought it, so it's got like a transformer thing to operate it there.
Oh my gosh.
So I've no idea whether it worked or at the time.
This was a
or,
businessman's car.
yeah, but
It's an auto,
Yeah.
so it means you could make telephone calls one-handed driving safely, presumably before the laws came in.
Yeah.
So you wanted an Espada, you tried to find your parents' old one, you found it, but you couldn't make that sale happen. How did this one come about?
Well, this one came about because the prices were going up.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's going to be out of my reach.
Yeah.
So this was an auto. It wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I needed to get myself on the ladder.
This is a Series 3, isn't it?
Series 3.
So Series 3 is
yeah.
auto. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they did 55 autos, but the auto box doesn't work with a V12 high revving engine at all.
No.
So I think it's the same auto box in a Jensen Interceptor, for example.
It'd be a,
I think a 3-speed Borg Warner box.
Okay. Okay.
So I've got a manual gearbox, which I'm going to convert it back to manual.
Oh, you're going to make it manual?
Yeah.
Keep the telephone.
Because I was talking to Colin Clark, the Lamborghini specialist.
Yeah.
And he reckons that, you know, it's a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot do convert it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot.
You'll keep the auto box, presumably, and just put it on your shelf over there. And
yeah,
you've
got nail it on the wall or something.
I was going to say, you've got all those other Espada parts sitting there.
Sell it to a Jensen owner, but I don't know.
So is this is a resto project, or is this car actually on, it was running and driving when you bought it?
I bought it with engine problems, which I know a lot of people would run a mile, but I love, you know, rebuilding things like this.
Yeah.
So it does run.
Yeah.
But it's like head gasket problems.
Okay.
So I think it's engine out, strip right down.
Yeah.
Go right through it, make sure it's okay.
So it's a keeper.
Oh yeah, and I think you know it's not brilliant condition. But
no, it's got some scars and some dinks and some dents, but I kind of like it.
I'll leave it like this.
Are you?
And just make sure it's mechanically sound.
Brilliant. Right. Clearly you're into motorbikes.
I am, yes.
I know, I saw there's various pictures, and when you sent me details on some of them, I know you've been restoring a couple of them.
Yeah.
Give us a brief rundown on your motorbike story.
Well, it was started off when I was 9. My parents bought me a little 50 Italjet.
Oh, yeah.
And their plan was to get it out of my system.
Okay.
I think, oh, well, it'll die out. But it didn't work.
Didn't it?
No.
It fueled it.
I've had a bike ever since.
Have you?
Yeah. So I love my bikes.
Have you raced?
Only track days.
Yeah.
Which is, I do the track days on this.
Okay. Oh yeah, you got the stickers and stuff on it.
Yeah, Almeria in Spain.
Okay.
Focus Events do like a big bike trip where you get a cheap flight.
Yeah. Bike gets taken out for you.
And all the bikes get taken out, and you get 4 days in the sun on the track, which, you know, it's better than a wet weekend in Alton Park, for example.
No offence to Alton Park.
No, sorry, Alton Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which bikes turn you on? I mean, my eyes keep looking at the word turbo on this Kawasaki 750 because A, the font is amazing, but B, bikes don't normally have turbos from the factory.
Well, that's a factory bike. In the 80s, they all had to go. Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda, and Suzuki all had to go putting turbos on bikes. Well, there's no room. There's no room for an intercooler. So
where is the turbo?
It's down the fairing, right by the exhaust headers.
Okay.
Which is the key to that bike because it reduces the turbo lag.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a Hayabusa, and you've got this, which I suddenly realised that's a Moto Guzzi adventure bike.
Yeah, that's right. This are currently in use. I've been at Scotland in it recently.
Really?
Right at the top. Really comfy. Everyone seems to have the BMW GSs.
Yeah.
Which I wanted something different.
Yeah.
It's as good
and
as...
it's Italian, like that car.
Italian, yeah.
And that car.
And it's old school, air cooled.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's a bit clunky but
you enjoy it.
You got to remember why you're riding a bike in the first place.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. The Stelvio 1200.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So they're quite rare.
And that's a Fireblade.
This is a Honda SP1.
Oh, that's an SP1.
It's an SP1. So it's a homologation bike.
Yeah. I think of Colin Edwards when I think of an
that's right. Yeah. Colin Edwards race one.
Yeah.
And Joey Dunlop.
Right.
Did the Isle of Man on one. They were a bit heavy really for the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
But he made it. So
So that's quite a special bike.
it's quite, it's getting there.
Yeah,
They're getting rarer.
Old Shane Byrne, he'll be eyeing that up.
You will,
Yeah, he will be. Yeah,
I'll have to get it.
he
going.
likes an SP one, I think.
Yeah, it's been in this one and that one's been in the house, so that's why they're a bit dusty.
The Hayabusa's been in the house.
No, it's,
I was going to say it's a big bike to fit in a house.
yeah, I was at work but that's brand new. That's brand new. It's year 2000.
Right.
It's not brand new now, but it hasn't been on the road yet.
Oh, what? It's never been like registered or anything, or?
Yeah, it's registered.
But no one had ever ridden it.
No.
Really? So you bought it as a sort of brand new old stock?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, it was TTS was a bike tuning company at the time.
Yeah.
And they did a special one in silver that was ported head, high lift cams, bit more power.
Gosh.
So I wanted one of them, but they didn't have any left.
Okay.
But he said, I've got a red one in with no engine. I said, oh, really? But he said, I can put an engine in with the same state of tune.
Yeah.
So that's what he did for us.
Gosh.
But it's unfortunately I left the fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
And it's wrecked the tank.
Has it?
Yeah. So the tank's up there. That's why the tank's off.
Oh, that's why you've got it. So it's having that repaired.
Yeah. But it's a shame. We might be able to.
So it's a delivery mileage of 2,000 a year. Hayabusa, brilliant. Something I forgot to ask you.
Yeah.
You got a lot of cool cars,
Yeah.
and I know some of them are in states of disrepair and stuff.
Yeah.
Are there any others that you haven't told us about, or that you still want?
Well, I did. Being a Lamborghini fan,
Yeah.
I was looking at a more modern Lamborghini, like a Gallardo, something special in that. But I've been swayed by something else.
Okay.
And this might be your fault, actually, because I was watching the video on the MST, the Mark 1 Escort,
Okay.
the second one you did.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also seen it at a show, and I was just taken with it. And I've put a deposit on a shell.
You've ordered one.
So, yeah, basically.
Ooh, an MST,
But, yeah.
local car.
Local car again, made in North Wales, what can you say?
Yeah, so is this your first Escort?
It is really, yeah.
It's not an Escort,
That's
in case
not an
Ford are
Escort,
watching.
No. Yeah, I had Minis at the time, really, so a couple of mates had Mark 1 Escorts. So
You're
I
on
guess
the
that
list
swayed
for an
me as well.
MST. Wow.
Yeah, it could be a while, but that's all right. I'd rather it be a while.
What spec?
Millington.
Oh my gosh,
Millington.
you've gone in.
Yeah.
Millington Mark 1 shell, Millington motor,
Yeah.
transmission.
Sequential.
Oh wow.
It's got to be a sequential with the Millington, I think. Mainly because the torque
Right.
the Millington's
Are
put
you
out.
going to use this on the road?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the idea. I'd like to hill climbs as well with it.
Yeah.
So I know that puts me with the big boys, but it's just for fun.
Yeah, what a car.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. A Civic Jordan edition. I haven't seen one in ages.
No.
And I haven't seen an immaculate standard condition one in ages. So again, I think this is a sentimental car, right?
It is, because my mum had this car. It was used condition.
Yeah.
And then she decided to get something else. So my late wife bought it. So
she had it.
She had it.
Yeah. I think these are pretty rare now.
Yeah,
They were modified, a lot of them, and probably wrecked.
Well, this is number 364 out of 500.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I did look it up a while ago.
Yeah.
We're getting less and less of them.
Yeah.
Because of people, say abusing them and writing them off.
Could I ask, how old was your mum when she was driving around in this?
Probably 60.
Right.
Maybe.
So
yeah.
she likes a hot car.
Oh yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She always has had some nice cars, So
That's
it's
brilliant.
A bit different.
And there is another Honda outside, which you might have seen in the intro, a white Prelude. there's a relationship between this and that car, because that was your mum's as well.
Yes, yeah.
Tell me about that one a bit.
Well, that was, again, she bought that one used, but it wasn't very old.
Yeah.
And it was probably a car she most loved to drive because of the four-wheel steer.
I love the four-wheel steering.
The lovely low glass visibility out the bonnet.
Yeah.
And she used to just relish parking it in the street because it's so easy with the four-wheel steer.
Yeah.
Which wasn't thought of then, really. You didn't see it.
I haven't seen one of those for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that one's seen better days. You're trying to work out if you can restore it.
If I can do it. The bodywork's in a really poor condition.
Yeah.
So
if anyone has any Prelude panels out there, get in touch with the Late Break Show and I'll forward your details on to Steve because he does want to save it. Right, we're going to have to go outside. We'll have a quick look at the cars outside. Love this era of RS4. I think it's probably the most handsome, actually. And I did clock that it was manual. This is not your car though, is it, Steve?
No, it's my fiance's Emma's car. So
this is her everyday car?
This is her daily runner.
Yeah, yeah.
She's always wanted one. So it's the B7 V8 4.2. It took some finding because we wanted an Avant for the dogs.
Yeah. And this gets used a lot.
Yeah.
I know you were saying you clean it a lot.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It has to put up with Welsh winters.
Yeah.
Any modifications or anything?
Yes, it's stage 2 tune. It's had the cold start cured. So no high revs when you're starting from cold.
Right, okay.
So
it doesn't flare up like
no.
These and AMGs and a lot of them do that.
Yeah, it's unnecessary really.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's had 2 cats taken out. It's got 2 cats already. There's 4 cats.
2 of the 4 cats have been killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it sounds a bit fruitier.
I bet it does sound fruitier. I know Emma was saying she certainly enjoys the pace of it.
Oh yeah, she does.
But what I love, I know, and we'll talk about it in a second, I love the fact that she either drives that or that, which couldn't be more different, the Polski Fiat 126. But before we talk about that, I'm blocking the 911, which is offensive that I've blocked it. So you got a 911, 996. I didn't check what, is it a 4 or a 2?
It's a 4.
It's a 4.
Carrera 4.
Yeah.
It's a 3.6, so it's the last of the 996s, if you like.
Oh wow, yeah.
So and it's the only 911 with the egg-shaped headlights, which they didn't like to start with.
No, controversial.
But it is. It's taken from the Le Mans car, isn't it? Yeah.
So you've been on any long journeys in it?
Been to Italy in it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a really usable car. Get your luggage in.
Yeah.
It's not 30 to the gallon if you want.
This is the thing about 911s. It's difficult to pick fault with them when they do fit a lot of luggage. You can fit 2 children or small adults in the back, and they're very comfortable for long journeys and 30 to the gallon. Yeah. We've got to look at there's a nickname that you've got for this.
Oh, this is Jaffa.
Jaffa.
Yeah.
So this is your other half. So Emma drives either the RS4 or a Polski Fiat.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. What a combination.
It's a bit better in fuel, but not as powerful.
Yeah.
No.
But she was saying, and she hit the nail on the head, she said, everywhere I go, people smile, they find it amusing. She drives it with a grin on her face. And that's kind of what these sorts of classics are about. It's a character car. Yeah. Look at its face. It's got a great little face. So what's the score with this one then? Where did it come from?
Well, it was, we got Harry Metcalf to thank for this.
Have you?
So we watch his YouTube videos all the time.
Yeah.
And he was doing a feature on Silverstone auctions, and he was panning for the cars, and he can give it a quick mention.
Yeah.
And Emma goes, "Oh, what's that?"
Did she?
I thought, "Oh no." Yeah.
So you're as bad as one another then?
Oh, we are, yeah.
If you've always fancied a classic car and you've not bought one, these are a really good car. And don't be put off by left-hand drive because they're about that wide anyway.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter too much.
And the funny thing is, sometimes she takes one of the retrievers in the passenger seat,
Oh, really?
which is the wrong side.
Yeah.
So when you're going up the road,
It looks
people
like
are going, there's a retriever driving that car.
It looks like just as we
Quite
were
funny.
as we were repositioning the camera to talk about the 126. Steve mentioned about the spec of this 911 because you were saying that you ended up just buying it from around the corner.
Yeah.
On a bit of a whim, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were saying, so it's got a sports exhaust and it's got a couple of other parts on it.
Yeah.
You said that the guy who originally owned it, was it the original owner of the car?
No, the guy I bought it off.
The guy that you bought it
Yeah.
off. What happened?
Well, I asked him, I said, well, if you go, we've only got one key, where's
Yeah.
the other key?
Yeah.
And he paused for a bit and said, well, you're not going to believe this. I said, well, try me.
Yeah.
He said, my spaniel's pinched the other set and he's buried them in the field. He said, you're welcome to look for it.
The spaniel has buried
Buried
keys.
his keys in the field. So
It's a
I
great
had to
haggling tool.
I had to believe him because he's such an honest guy. You know,
Yeah.
So
The Clio. That's my favourite era of Clio.
yeah, it's the 172 Cup.
Right.
So it's all, you know, it's just over 1,000 kilos. It's pretty light, really.
It's
Pretty
incredible.
lively car.
Yeah.
It was at one of my customers' houses, and it was there with flat tyres, with the window half down, wet carpets. And I said, "What are you doing with this?"
Yeah.
So he said, "Well, nothing." So he didn't want to sell it at first,
Really?
but I did hound him a bit, and he agreed to sell it me.
Did you do a deal?
I did a deal, yeah.
Brilliant.
I love a deal.
I love a deal as well. I've got to say thanks ever so much for letting me come and have a look at your cave. What I love is the sheer variety.
Yeah.
You know, here we are with the Polski Fiat. Right there is an incredibly rare Maserati Indy, Espada, Jordan Civic, Prelude four-wheel steer, Clio Cup, RS4. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good variety of stuff. You've got a good eye, I think, for
Yeah.
automotive variety.
Take some tablets, stop it all. So
So I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of Steve and Emma's garage, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Late Break Show, subscribe and comment below if you have a comment.